Thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks for having us.
What do you got, Kevin?
Well, obviously there's going to be, the front office has to go through the process of finding a new coach. From your perspective, whether it's Brad or someone else, how easy would it be for a coach to come into the room the way it is right now, a mix of veterans and young guys?
We have a great group, and I think a group that works really hard, listens well, wants to improve, wants to do all those things. I'd want to coach us, right? Like I think we're a group that would attract someone who would be knowing what they're getting, and also have the opportunity to implement their own style, and kind of how they see, us taking a different step potentially. Yeah.
So you consider it a pretty coachable group then, and I guess maybe in that vein, did you see some of the younger guys step up and start to fill the void that was left with some of the departures that happened earlier?
Yeah, I think when you look at our lineup, you started to see, especially after the deadline, and regardless of in the room, I think on the ice you saw guys get bigger roles, more ice time, more responsibility, and with that comes the off-ice leadership that they have to then take on. And yeah, I think a lot of the young guys, we talked about it last year when we were in the same room, right? Like, in order for us to get to where we want to be, that group is going to need to learn their role, their responsibilities, and their own leadership. And Fliggy will kill me, but I watched a Nick Foligno post-season conference the other day, and it's like I think us with Chicago, kind of you parallel two teams that are trying to rebuild to get to where they want to be. And Fliggy said, you got to be fully committed, right? And you need everyone in that room to be fully committed to where you're going. And with that, you'll get younger guys who need to learn their own leadership, their own voice, and pull guys along with them. And that goes to on-ice roles, that goes to off-ice roles. And that's how you get excited about what the potential could be. Right? This year was not the year the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup. What do we need to do to get there? What's going to be your role, and how are you going to get someone else to get their role in order to do that?
We did this a year ago, which you played a lot with pals, and I remember you saying a year ago that if he has the opportunity to do so, that his size and his speed, it wouldn't surprise you to see his offensive game kind of take off. He had that opportunity later in the season, and he did kind of take the bull by the horns and do it. Is that something that obviously you can see him continuing to grow in, and something that can be an example to other guys in the room if the opportunity is there? You got to seize it.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable guy, but he's committed to what we're doing here and committed to his game, his craft, and wants to improve. I think any guy, we got a lot of those guys, but you look at a guy like Pales and you say, hey, with opportunity comes responsibility, and how are you then going to take care of that and improve your game? And I think that goes back to picking up people around you, picking up your game in order to help guys around you pick up their game as well. Yeah, he got a great opportunity, but he deserved every bit of it. And I can only see him going at that the same way, the same mentality, with the same effort and conviction. So, guys' ceilings, I have no idea where guys will get to, but I know that with that mindset, I wouldn't put a ceiling on him, right? Like, there's no sense in doing that.
Garnet, when you came back from the injury near the end of the year, you were pretty open and honest that you didn't know how long it was going to take for you to feel comfortable. It's a scary injury. Now that you've been through it, how difficult was it? When did you feel like you were back to yourself in terms of full confidence on the ice? Or do you feel like you're back to yourself?
Yeah. I don't wish that type of injury on anybody. It was tough. It was tough on a lot of different levels. I missed 15 games. I saw the team go 4-10-1. I saw the trade deadline pass by. Guys get sent to different teams. We let go of our coach. Coaching change. We fell out of a playoff race. All meanwhile, I was trying to feel like myself, right? And it's tough, I think, in this league when you get injured, you're not ostracized, but like it's tough to stay in the same schedule. You know, my ice times were different than their ice times. I was in the gym when they were on the ice, and so I think trying to feel like myself took to get over that hump. I think throughout my recovery was when I spent more time with everybody in that team mentality, locker room setting, and then I realized, hey, I'm back to my ways, and getting a feel of that room because it lifts people up, right? That's the kind of group we have. So I felt like, I've been very fortunate enough to not miss many games throughout the last few years. I played 84 in one of the years. It's just and I missed 15 games. I felt, fortunately, probably pretty fresh in the last 7. And I felt like myself when I was back, and I do now. And I wish we were still playing hockey tomorrow.
Garnet, I know a lot can change in one season, of course this offseason as well, but do you feel like you guys are maybe a little closer than what people on the outside see when they see the standings and where things finish this year?
Yeah, I'm going to quote someone again, but I think it was my second year in Calgary. Glenn Gulletson was my coach. He came in and we had gone through a stretch where we had our fate in our hands, and we let it slip away. And he came in and he said, and I might mess it up a little bit, but he said, he basically said, the obstacle is the way. I nodded my head, and I was like, yep, definitely. Not a clue, right? Like, how could that make sense at all? It doesn't. And it's funny, right? Time. Then you start realizing what does that mean? And over the years, little things, injuries, what impedes motion, advances motion, right? Like, or action. What we went through this year will help us get to where we want to be. Being a Flyers fan, it's tough this year more than other years. But trust us that we are trusting our management and we're putting our effort on the ice in order to be Stanley Cup champions. And we wear our jersey with pride, just as our fans do. How was the obstacle the way? You learn from it. You take those ups and downs that we had this year. You find yourself in a situation with adversity, with trades, with guys who mean so much to our locker room and to the Flyers organization, right? A guy who'd been here his whole career gets sent out who was an unbelievable guy in Lottie, and that's the obstacle. Who steps up, who finds their voice, who picks the guy up next to them. And I think that's how you look at this year. Hopefully we're going the other way. And hopefully today is the start of that. And we're going to hit more obstacles. But what are we going to learn? How are we going to perceive those and get better from them, and become the team we want to become?
You mentioned about young guys stepping into roles. The first guy we talked about today was Sean Couturier, and he specifically pointed out Noah Cates as someone who's been moving into leadership meetings over these last few weeks. Are you seeing him developing into one of those guys who can fill the void of guys like Lawton, guys who have left?
I think it was about midway through the season. You guys had a post-game scrum talking about Catesy, and I'll say what I said then. You guys don't have enough time in your day to listen to me talk about Catesy. He carries himself so well, and I think that's what guys see too. You see guys committed, putting the effort in. Some of the guys to Pales too, taking care of themselves and wanting to take that next step in order to become someone that people lean on. And that's Casey in a nutshell. And I could keep going, but I won't bore you. And yeah, he'll continue to find his voice. And this year, you look back when he was healthy scratch to becoming our, most trusted center for a lot of the season. And what can guys learn from that? You ask Catesy what he went through, right? Like, it just advanced him even more. He had to find a way to fight through it and learn from it. It's, I don't know, maybe like a microcosm for our season, right? Like how you got a group of guys that believe in that effort and see it with that perspective. You're going to find losing streaks stop at 2, right? And that's, you see the good teams, they don't lose more than 2 games in a row. They can't afford it. To be good and consistently good, you have to find a way to stop those and find your game and refocus and push forward, and that's what Catesy does in any battle that he gets to.
You were quick to re-up with the organization last year. I assume at least partly because you believe in what management is doing here. With the foundation that John built and that's here now with the young guys, is it a good time now to start potentially adding pieces and start to go the other way, like you were saying?
Luckily, it's not. That's not my job.
No. I don't want to put you in the.
No.
Trying to ask the question in a roundabout way, and that you believe in the foundation, so that if they do potentially start to add, do you feel like now's the time? You guys as a group can start to go forward again.
Yeah, I think to stop the roundabout though, I think there's so many things that as a player, I don't know the rules, what goes into being able to add guys, what money we have on the books,
right.
What's available in the market, how you view our team and what we need and what will get us there. I know what we have in our room. So I was excited to re-up because a lot of different things, but one of them is the room. Another one is I love where I live. I have 3 young kids. Our organization puts a lot of time, money, and effort into our facilities, our well-being. And I think when we do begin to spend money for UFA or attract players to come here, I hope they realize that it's not just what you see on 95 coming from the hotel to the rink. It's a lot more that goes into it, with the fan base, with the practice rink, with the game rink, and then on top of that, you get the guys in this room that we're building. And you'll see, we talked about it last year, you'll see the effort that goes into guys wanting to not put their own ceiling on themselves, and finding any adversity that they get to, they're going to work through it.
Thanks, Garnet.
Yep.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Appreciate it.